Yo guys, what is up? This is Mouth coming back to you with everything that's new and relevant, and much like our beloved guide that's in the beginning of every Pokemon game, I'll be walking you guys through what's new in the Pokemon community and what's up in the sky with Sun and Moon. So I'm going to be explaining what Sun and Moon is and some of the awesome new features that's involved in the newest installments, as well as going over what you might have missed in the recent games announcements, along with me putting in some of my own personal opinions of these brand new features. So without further ado, let's dive on in. So of course, what exactly is the setting of the game? Well, to put it bluntly, pretty much Hawaii. As you can tell, this island-like landscape pretty much follows up with what anyone would call a tropical paradise. With that being said, we call this the Alola region. But knowing this much, we're going to find some sandy beaches, quite a few palm trees, and of course, some tropically designed creatures. For the big announcement of Pokemon Sun and Moon region, many believe that this game would have had the setting of something more Japan-like by mainly guessing through the Sun and Moon gods of Japan, and also through the fact that they haven't had an Asian-based region in quite some time. But of course, these guesses turned over false, but aside from that, sandy beaches won't be the only thing we'll discover in the Alola region. We're also going to venture through some city-like landscapes, along with little caves that are probably going to be filled with bat Pokemon everywhere you look. But as you can see, we're not limited to one island, so to me, it pretty much looks like we have the Wind Waker of the Pokemon series. It really matches the feel they're going for, so be sure to keep your live surfboard everywhere you go, trainers. You know, those HM slaves. Yep, them. Now, moving on to the game features. In Pokemon Sun and Moon, you get to choose some presets for your characters, so obviously this most likely means the character customization is coming back to the series, which would honestly be a good move. Now, when we were given a peek at some of the features in Nintendo's latest trailers, we noticed the trainers in battle were given different outfits. But just going off of that, I mainly hope we do see this game detail come back, because we haven't seen it since Pokemon X and Y, which means we haven't seen it in a few years. But segueing from that, a new battle mode was recently tossed our way as well, a little mode called Battle Royale. For those who missed this unique announcement, Battle Royale is the new multi-trainer battle mode that puts 4 players up against each other in a free-for-all match. So some of you out there might be scratching your heads and thinking, well, how does this work? Well, first off, each trainer selects 3 Pokemon they're going to use in this new battle mode, and of course you can tag whoever you want. Trainers are also going to be ranked in 1st to 3rd place once the battle is over by tallying how many Pokemon the trainer defeated in the match, along with how many Pokemon they have left in the match. So to me, it sounds like it's all based on who has a better KD-like ratio in the end. Furthermore, that actually excites me more than the recent match modes they put out not too long ago, and to me, I'm sure whoever's more fast goes first. That's how every battle goes. So aside from that, there's one more feature out there for Pokemon Sun and Moon, which is not only kind of useful, but quite adorable as well. Now, we all remember the cute little guy that possesses inanimate objects that was quite fun yet spooky to catch in the Sinnoh region, right? Yep, this spook named Rotom became a brand new Pokedex spec in the Alola region. To add the most efficient experience in your most needed tool of your journey, Professor Kukui, or however you pronounce his name, had a Rotom inhabit the Pokedex. Why might you ask? The Rotom inhabited Pokedex is supposed to act Navi of the game, explaining to you where you should probably go and other obvious things, much like Navi from, Legend of Zelda. The Rotom Pokedex will pretty much be on the bottom of your screen of your 3DS system, acting as a map, much like the Pokédex from Sinnoh. Kind of, not really. And with one simple touch to become your Pokedex. Overall, with the features to these newer titles, I'm thinking there's going to be much more revealed as we close in towards the release date of Pokemon Sun and Moon, and as such, this isn't going to be our only Pokemon info video. We will definitely keep up to date on it. But anyway, onto the new species of Pokemon. With a new region comes with a new generation. As obvious as that is, we have quite the list of newer species out there in stone for us, starting with our, well, starters. So of course we're going to have our water, grass, and fire types to select from, and most likely we're going to choose first so that whoever goes after you trumps with what you went with, because that's how it always works. But introducing Rowlet, Litten, and Popplio. Coming in at the corner is Rowlet, also known as Mukuro in Japan, is your grass/flying type, weighing at 3.3 pounds and its height coming in at exactly 1 foot tall with the Overgrow ability. Rowlet will come with a move called Leafage, which ultimately strikes the enemies with leaves, which I guess is a cool version of Razor Leaf? But anyway, now entering the other side is Litten, also known as Nyabi in Japan, is a pure fire type weighing at 9.5 pounds, being as tall as 1 foot and 4 inches, will obtain the ability called Blaze. Of course, this little rascal will be coming equipped with a move called Ember, so no explanation needed on that move. And last but not very least, we have Popplio, also known as Ashamari in Japan, being our pure water type and weighing in at 16.5 pounds, being just as tall as Litten, but comes with a Torrent ability. This little guy also has a known set of moves right now containing Pound, Growl, Disarming Voice, and Water Gun. Of course, Pokeleo will come with the Water Gun move upon selection. Of course, with every version of Pokemon, Sun and Moon has their legendaries exclusive to each title. Pokemon Sun containing the legend Sokleo being a Psychic Steel type, species also about 11 feet tall and a little over 500 pounds, and comes with a full metal body ability. And not only that, but activates something called a Radiant Sun phase with select moves. Now, Pokemon Moon will contain a legend named Lunala. Being a Psychic Ghost type, this monster comes in about 260 pounds and being 13 feet tall. This legend also comes with a Shadow Shield ability, and much like Pokemon Sun's legend, it will activate its special full moon phase upon the selection of moves. But ironically, these two are really vulnerable to the types of Pokemon you thought they would be, with Sogleo being weak to fire types and Lunala being weak to dark types. Kind of ironic in a way, huh? You know, sun and moon, fire, darkness. Anyway, so aside from starters and legends, we also have a few more Pokemon that's been revealed to us quite recently, some of which that seem pretty cool and others that people are referencing upon, well, other things. So first off, a couple of these Pokemon don't exactly have American names or too much detail yet, but I will post a link to these guys below. But I'd like to point out our most relevant guy who seemed to be trending the internet lately as a little reference. Young Goose the normal type. Now if you look real close, you can see some, well, similarities. But anyway, I'm not going to entirely leave out the rest of the Pokemon they introduced, so here's some pictures and a little bit of info I was able to get on them. So obviously this little doggy is going to be our rock type who comes with the move Bite. Japan calls this little rascally Wanko. That's pretty much all the info I got on him. But as for this koala looking guy, in Japan he goes by the name of Nekoala, which sounds a little Jamaican and or Italian. I'm not amazing with name pronunciations. But this cute little guy is going to be our little normal type, and moving on from him, because it's all I got as well on that, is going to be Pikipek. This small birdie is going to be our little fire/flying type. So that's pretty much all I got on him as well. Moving on to our little bug type called Grubbin, which is all that I got on him. That's just his name, and here's his picture. But moving on from him, we have our newest steel/fairy type kind of Pokemon named Magearna, who actually has a known list of moves containing Flash Cannon, Fjord Cannon, Lucky Chant, and Helping Hand, which I'm assuming that this info was pulled from the anime, so this may or may not be what's, final in the game. But aside from them, let's not forget Zygarde's 10% and complete forms coming into Pokemon Sun and Moon, meaning there's going to be some anime crossovers. Overall, with our new species of Pokemon, this is obviously a small portion of the final product, and more information will be added as time goes by, meaning that the dream of catching them all is a bit longer. So, moves and abilities. With new Pokemon comes with new moves and abilities. As for moves, you'll see a couple of them from the anime pop up in-game, much like Cornforcer and Fjord Cannon. These two moves are yet to have further info on them, so links will be provided below to a website that can keep you up to date on those. But we have another move called Moongeist Beam, which ignores the opponent's effects upon using this tag. Its type is unknown, but belongs to Lunala. We also have the Sunsteel Strike that has the same ability as Moongeist Beam, but belongs to Sogleo. Aside from that, there is also a Naruto sounding kind of move called Thousand Arrows, which is a ground type move, and it hits Pokemon in the air and brings them back down to earth. So there's literally no flying away from that attack. The known user of this move is Zygarde, and was actually supposed to be programmed into Ruby and Sapphire, but it never made the cut. But our last known move, which is also a ground type, is called Thousand Waves. Basically, the user attacks with a wave that crawls along the ground, so those hit can't flee from battle. But now that we have covered our new moves, it's time to go on about our new abilities out there. Starting with the Full Metal Body. Belonging to Sogleo, this ability will keep users' stats from being lowered by the opponent's moves and or abilities, which I'm assuming this is what it looks like. Pretty badass, huh? Also belonging to Lunala, there's an ability called Shadow Shield that has its user take less damage from an attack if the Pokemon has full HP. But just another assumption of what this ability looks like with Pokemon, it's also kind of badass. As for the ability, we have one that goes by the name of Definite Sleep. This one allows the Pokemon to only be affected by the sleep status condition. But of course, this other ability called Swarm Change changes Zygarde's form in a pinch, meaning this is most likely exclusive to Zygarde, but that's just an educated guess. But moving on to Soul Heart ability. This one raises the special attack by one stage when a Pokemon on the field is knocked out, which could be really handy in Battle Royale. So anyway, last but not least, we have the Stake Out ability, which deals twice the normal damage if the opposing Pokemon just switched into battle, which that could be pretty annoying. So overall, this is honestly just a small portion of what's to come with Pokemon Sun and Moon. Honestly, I personally wasn't too excited on the first announcement, but these titles have begun growing on me lately, so I decided to dig into the depths of the internet to find out all this information and make this video. So I'll be putting a link down below to a website I found to be reliable in the past for you guys to, keep up on it with all the information and everything. So I guess to top this video off, I'll be getting into Pokemon Moon and would love to know what you guys will be getting, so be sure to answer in the comments below. Anyway, thanks for listening and watching, and be sure to comment, share, like, and subscribe. Thank you guys again. Wasabi out.